Broadcom just reported earnings. The stock is up over 14% after hours, and the CEO mentioned some amazing things that every AI investor should know. So in today's episode, I want to cover that and maybe what it means to companies like Nvidia. Let's take a closer look. But before we get started, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out my daily free newsletter, What the Chip Happened. Link is down below. Now, let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so quick price action for Broadcom. We can see the stock is up roughly 14% after reporting earnings. So we're going to look, but overall, the market seems to be excited about some commentary the CEO mentioned about the AI chip market. And for those that are not familiar, right, in the AI chip market, you have your big player, which is Nvidia, who is up about 1.2% after Broadcom's earnings. I believe kind of the overall semiconductor market is up after those reports. And Nvidia makes AI chips, but big tech player is designing their own AI chips. Companies like Microsoft, like Google, and all these other players are designing their own AI chips to help improve their AI infrastructure. These chips are a little bit different than what Nvidia provides. Usually these chips are good for only one workload, but that market has plenty of opportunity. And that's where Broadcom comes in. And this is where they're seeing a huge addressable market for them. So Hog10 mentions that their AI revenue, which came from strength in custom AI accelerators or XPUs and networking, grew 220% from 3.8 billion in fiscal year of 2023 to 12.2 billion in fiscal 24. So we can see a huge growth in the AI market. And when it comes to XPU or these kind of AI accelerators that they're shipping, it's right now only to 3 hyperscale customers, and the overall networking solutions are driven by their networking product. In Q1, the company continues to see momentum in AI connectivity to be strong as more hyperscalers deploy their overall networking solution, as well as their next generations of XPUs continue to come out. And to be honest, I'm surprised Nvidia is actually up on the day or after these reports, because if I was kind of just looking at it in a top level view, it does seem like Broadcom is going to be coming out for Nvidia's lunch, especially since they mentioned, in contrast, they see opportunity over the next 3 years in AI, and they see it massive. Specifically, hyperscalers have begun their respective journeys to develop their own custom AI accelerators or XPUs, as well as network these XPUs with open and scalable Ethernet connectivity. For each of them, this represents a multi-year, not a quarter-to-quarter journey. As you know, we are currently have 3 hyperscale customers who have deployed their own multi-generation AI XPU roadmap to be deployed at varying rates over the next 3 years. In 2027, they believe each of them plans to deploy 1 million XPU clusters across a single fabric. They expect this to represent an AI revenue servable addressable market in the range of 60 billion to 90 billion in fiscal 2027 alone. So, I mean, we've heard from other companies that the overall AI accelerator market is expected to grow to about $400 billion in 2027. That's the overall AI accelerator market. Now, the CEO of Broadcom mentions that the unique ASIC or the custom silicon AI accelerators are expected to be 60 to 90 billion in 2027. And if I actually stand corrected, this is not total addressable market. This is actually the serviceable addressable market, and it's only for these 3 hyperscalers. So the total addressable market can actually be much higher. And if it can be much higher, in my opinion, it also means that the merchant GPU, so for companies like Nvidia, it also means that Nvidia's addressable market can be multi times bigger than this, because typically, while yes, big tech does develop their own chips, they still need GPUs like that what Nvidia makes, because NVIDIAs are programmable and kind of withstand time, and they can work with all different types of workloads. The CEO does mention that this is not going to be a linear ramp, and they will show kind of quarterly variability. So I think this is very important to remember because there might be opportunities in the future where Broadcom might dip because it might seem like the AI chip market is slowing down, but in reality, it's just this market is not a linear line. So there might be options for opportunity in the future. Now, I personally don't own Broadcom, but I do own its competitor in the space. And I believe the ASIC or custom chip market is one that's going to have multiple opportunities in the future as big tech is going to continue to invest in their own AI chip. Outside of that serviceable addressable market of those three hyperscalers, which is going to be roughly 60 to 90 billion. And the reason he believes this is obviously with these semiconductor companies, they tend to have long conversations with their customers to try to plan out how are things going to go within the next few years. This is very similar how Nvidia knows what kind of has some form of visibility that demand isn't slowing down anytime soon. Broadcom actually also announced that they've been selected by 2 additional hyperscalers and are advanced deployments for their own next generation AI XPUs. A few things to remember that for even though they just got selected by 2 additional hyperscalers, it takes a lot of time, usually maybe at least 1 to 2 years before this revenue starts really ramping up because there has to be the design process, the validation process, running software, and then the manufacturing process with some of the partners like TSM. So there's a lot before those 2 additional customers kind of get any real revenue for Broadcom. But I do believe this could be another reason why the stock price is up because these customers now open up a new avenue of revenue potential for Broadcom in the next 2 to 3 years. There was also a question during the earnings call that asked who are like your main customers? Are other people purchasing these AI accelerators or is it just big tech players? And the CEO pretty much mentions that at the moment, because the only ones that can really invest in developing their own AI chips are going to be the big tech players like Microsoft, like Google, like Meta, and the list goes on and on. So it's only going to be those players that are going to be using this solution for things like sovereign guys, the overall enterprise side, they're going to be focusing on GPUs from Nvidia. And this is why I believe Nvidia is really trying to push into other markets outside of the hyperscalers because it at least opens up the opportunity that those guys are going to be sticky. Now, as an Nvidia shareholder, another important thing is that Nvidia is innovating at such a rapid pace. And let's say you are a Microsoft and you start to develop your own AI chips, but you actually develop your chips a little bit slower than Nvidia. That's going to be a bad scenario for you because then Google or Amazon, they can go out there and buy all the Nvidia chips and do things a lot faster than you. That is going to cause for example, in that scenario, Microsoft to start to lose market share. So this is why NVIDIA's innovation at the end of the day is going to be the most important thing. Because even if big tech designs their own chip, if NVIDIA's chips are still the best, all these big tech players are going to need to purchase it because if not, they're going to be left behind. And if they're left behind, they're going to lose a lot of market share. So NVIDIA's innovation at the end of the day is the most crucial part for the stock. So Broadcom, amazing earnings. I've talked about it before. Even though Broadcom is not in my portfolio, I've always said that the custom ASIC market has its opportunity, and that's why I personally have its competitor. So congratulations to all Broadcom shareholders. Make sure to check out the newsletter on whatthechiphappened.com because I'm going to definitely take a closer look at the earnings transcript and some other conferences that happened today that you as a semiconductor investor want to make sure you know. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.